Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're diving into the world of Rabindranath Tagore today, specifically his Gitanjali. You brought this collection to our attention, and we're going to unearth those hidden gems, explore those themes of devotion, nature, life, death, and the divine. But before we get started, what drew you to Gitanjali in the first place? What are you hoping we uncover in this deep dive?
Oh, it's wonderful to consider your connection to this work. Gitanjali is truly special. We have here prose translations by Tagore himself of his Bengali poems. It's an intimate window into his relationship with the divine, something deeply personal offered to the world.
It's like we're getting a glimpse into his soul. For those who may not know, Tagore was kind of a monumental figure. He was the first non-European to win the Nobel Prize in Literature back in 1913, and on top of that, a literary giant, a philosopher, a musician, and a social reformer. He did it all.
He did. And within Gitanjali, Tagore's brilliance shines through. Especially when we consider the title itself, Gitanjali translates to song offerings, which perfectly encapsulates the collection's essence. These poems are more than just words on a page. They are heartfelt expressions of devotion, longing for a connection with a higher power.
Okay, I love that. Song offerings. So it's about a heartfelt connection with something bigger than ourselves. And Tagore doesn't shy away from expressing these emotions, does he? In chapter 2, he uses this powerful image of a bird taking flight. I felt that yearning for something more, something beyond the everyday. Have you ever felt that pull, that sense of your soul being ready to take flight?
It's a universal longing. And Tagore masterfully connects this personal yearning to a broader spiritual context. In many ways, he embodies the heart of Hindu devotionalism, where cultivating a deep personal relationship with the divine is paramount.
So imagine feeling such a profound connection with something greater than yourself, that it inspires songs of praise and longing. That's the essence of devotion that Tagore captures so beautifully. However, in chapter 11, he seems to challenge the very rituals often associated with devotion. It feels almost radical, urging a more direct and heartfelt connection with the divine in our daily lives.
It is radical. What's fascinating here is that Tagore isn't rejecting religion outright. Instead, he's pushing us to move beyond empty rituals, urging us to discover the divine in the everyday, in the act of living authentically.
Yeah, it's like he's saying, the divine isn't confined to temples or rituals. It's woven into the fabric of our lives. And speaking of being woven into the fabric of life, Tagore's connection to the natural world is undeniable. His poetry is bursting with vivid imagery. I mean, every other line seems to mention a bird, a river, a forest glade. It's incredible.
Absolutely. For Tagore, nature wasn't merely a backdrop. It was both a source of inspiration and a sacred text. He witnessed the divine at play in the changing seasons, the cycle of growth and decay, the intricate beauty of even the smallest creature.
It's like nature itself becomes a song offering, a testament to something greater than ourselves. One verse that really resonated with me was from chapter 20. It talks about missing the blooming lotus. And it struck me as this incredibly poignant metaphor for a misconnection with something truly precious.
What's fascinating here is how Tagore takes this potent symbol of the lotus, which holds deep spiritual significance in many Eastern traditions, and infuses it with such personal longing. In Hinduism and Buddhism, the lotus symbolizes purity, enlightenment, rebirth, emerging from murky waters to bloom in the sunlight. Tagore elevates this ancient symbol into a powerful expression of regret and the yearning for reconnection.
And he doesn't just tell us about the beauty of the lotus. He makes us feel it. Reading his words, it's like I could practically smell those bubble flowers in the air, feel the coolness of water on parched palms, hear the hushed silence of a forest at dusk.
Precisely. Tagore engages all our senses, immersing us in the experience of nature, allowing us to feel its power and significance. He reminds us of our own deep-seated connection to the natural world, something that transcends any single culture or time period.
You know, it makes me think about how differently we often experience nature in the modern world. We're so plugged in, so tuned out. Tagore challenges us to slow down, to truly see, hear, smell, reconnect with those primal senses.
He truly does, and perhaps that's why his poetry feels so timeless and universal. It speaks to a longing within us to reconnect with something larger than ourselves, to find meaning and solace in the natural world.
To rediscover that sense of awe and wonder that we so often lose sight of in our busy lives. Now, we've explored Tagore's views on devotion, his profound connection to nature, his challenge to find the sacred in the everyday. But he doesn't shy away from life's most challenging questions either, does he? Let's dive into how he grapples with the cycle of life and death in Gitanjali. In chapter 86, for instance, he paints this vivid picture of death, not as something to be feared, but as an honored guest. It's a perspective we rarely encounter in Western literature.
That's an excellent observation. Steeped in Hindi philosophy, Tagore embraces the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth. He doesn't shy away from death's inevitability. He leans into it. But what's remarkable is how he transcends those traditional interpretations, finding a sense of beauty and acceptance even in the face of mortality.
Yeah. Like he's saying death is not the end, but a transition, a part of life's natural rhythm. And instead of fearing it, we can choose to face it with courage and grace, find a strange beauty in its embrace. But within Gitanjali, Tagore explores this idea of death from different angles, doesn't he? It's not all about acceptance.
You're exactly right. Tagore's exploration of death is nuanced. For example, we also see verses reflecting a deep yearning to hold on to life, to experience all that this world has to offer. This complexity reveals the heart of Tagore's genius. He doesn't shy away from contradictions, he embraces them.
He shows us that it's okay to hold both joy and sorrow, fear and acceptance, all within the human experience. Which, when I think about it, connects back beautifully to his views on devotion and nature. There's a unifying thread in Gitanjali, this belief in the interconnectedness of everything. Would you agree?
Absolutely. The connecting thread is Tagore's unwavering belief in the interconnectedness of everything. He sees the divine in every aspect of existence, in love and loss, in nature's symphony, even in the face of death. It's this profound sense of unity, this recognition of the sacred in every aspect of life that ultimately shines through.
It's a powerful message, especially in a world that often feels increasingly fragmented and divided. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive into Tagore's Gitanjali, I want to leave our listener with one final thought-provoking idea to ponder. Tagore often brings up the concept of Maya, this illusion that prevents us from seeing the world as it truly is, like wearing a distorted pair of glasses, right?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Think about how social media often presents a carefully curated version of reality. That's Maya in action, a veil obscuring the full picture. Or consider how easily we can get caught up in our own limited perspectives, our judgments, our fears. These too can act as forms of Maya, preventing us from seeing the interconnectedness of all things, the divine spark that resides within each of us.
It's a profound concept,
Yes.
and a little unsettling when you really sit with it. So, as we conclude our deep dive, I encourage you to ask yourself, where do I see Maya at play in my own life? What veils might I need to lift to see more clearly, to connect more deeply with the world around me?
It's a lifelong exploration, and Gitanjali offers us a guide, inviting us to question our assumptions, challenge our perceptions, and seek a more truthful and compassionate understanding of ourselves and the world.
We've journeyed through Tagore's world, from his incredible life and work to his profound reflections on devotion, nature, life, and death. And while those themes might seem huge and daunting, remember those song offerings at the heart of it all? Each of us has a song to sing, a story to tell, a connection to forge with the world around us. So keep seeking, keep questioning, keep diving deep, and most importantly, keep listening for the echoes of those song offerings in your own life.